So all of you are going to have clients at some time that come in with some kind of betrayal trauma. Now you hope to get the couple in if it's a couple, if they've divorced and it's an individual that's been betrayed and is scared to go into another relationship, you'll deal with this. I want to focus for this training on what to do when you have a couple where one of them has betrayed the other. So you have a clear perpetrator that is either got to the point of compulsively looking at pornography, or had an affair that was physical with someone that's ongoing, or a one night stand, or had an emotional affair. All of those are incredibly painful. And just for want of how I look at it and how many researchers look at it, there is viewing pornography that is a betrayal if the person kind of like gets either flashed on a text, and that's a new term I just learned. If somebody flashes you via text, they send you a picture of them nude without you wanting it, and you open it not knowing that's what it is, and you get flashed. That happens, or you might just stumble across it while you're scrolling through social media. If you, as part of our business, we have a TikTok channel, and I'm telling you, you can't help but see pornography, and so you try to scroll quickly through some things, but that's viewing pornography. That's generally not the cause of a lot of betrayal, unless maybe you're scrolling and purposely pausing and ogling. That might be considered betrayal. So anytime a person in a relationship feels like they're being traded in, or they're being set aside for something that's better, or at least in their mind better, that can create a betrayal. So there's viewing pornography. Then there's addicted to pornography, which is a person that looks at it whenever they can, but they're not searching for it. And then compulsively viewing pornography are those people that have digressed to the point where they're now actively seeking regularly pornographic themes and images. They're probably graduating into some kind of physical acting out at massage parlors or strip clubs. But it can literally be, what was that one senator that they found on his computer that he was viewing pornography up to like 11 hours a day. So it can get super compulsive. That is by far considered a betrayal in a relationship, because they're spending more time investing in that than anything else. And so watch out for pornography. Watch out for one night stands, for ongoing physical affairs. Be super wary of the oh my word, what was the other one that I was? Yeah, be wary of a person that has this betrayal, because you need to get them to tell you what felt like betraying, so that you can help them explain to the perpetrator in these cases. Okay, does that make sense? And so what do you do if they come to therapy together, and they sit down on your couch, and one of them says, we're dealing with an affair? The first thing I do is I empathize. I let them know that, like, look, affairs are incredibly difficult. And I don't labor over the perpetrator's difficulties at first, because the one that's been betrayed is going to have some super angry, tender feelings that you have to help with. And so the perpetrator is going to have to work with you on that. But I do throw out there something like this when they first tell me. I say, look, I get some parts of this because I've dealt with a lot of people that have dealt with affairs. And part of what I want you to understand is, if I can use the word, you're a victim of an affair, and I'll try to move away from that language, but you're a victim of an affair. You had no choice. That in this case, I'm thinking about, he stepped out with another woman and had an ongoing affair for a number of years. She caught him. He didn't turn himself in, and so in this case, it's much more tender, because it's easier to deal with an affair if the person stops and then tells on himself, versus gets caught. So she caught him, doesn't know if he would have quit the affair had she not caught him. And so there's all of that going on. So I empathize. I says, you caught your husband in an affair. You've probably got all of these questions, like, how long would it have kept going? Was he going to leave me for her? Why didn't he just divorce me and go with her? Why did he run me through all this torture? You're feeling all of that. And I know right now you don't have to care, but I have to care that you that's committed this act, this affair, you're probably feeling like a huge loss has just happened. Like, not only are you that guy that had an affair, which I know how devastating that must feel. You love your wife. I can see it, because I can see how worried you are about her, but yet you got caught up in something horrible, and you're probably going to have some feelings about loss there. And that's going to anger you if he expresses those feelings of loss. And so I want to save all that for in here. So the first thing I'm setting up is that there's a space in the office, in my office, where they can talk about some things that are too hard to talk about for a while out there. One of them is how he feels about the loss of his affair partner, how he might feel about maybe have love feelings for this person he had an affair with, even if they were inappropriate love feelings, they were probably still love feelings, and after some years, rather deep. So he's going to have to deal with that grief while helping his wife heal from the betrayal trauma. So you can see there's a lot of stuff going on. There's 3 stages, and this is what I'll say to my clients. I say, okay, I want to just take a moment and lay out the 3 stages of dealing with infidelity. And then after that, I want you guys to give me some ideas of how you want to do therapy. We can do some things around individual work. We can do some things around working on stuff together. We can do some things about rebuilding this relationship. You might even be in a place where you're trying to make a decision on if you're staying in this relationship. But I want to just tell you that there is a pathway out of infidelity. There's a pathway out of feeling betrayed and feeling the grief of betrayal. There's a pathway out, and I can help you with that. It's going to take some time, maybe even a long time, but we'll get through it if you want to. You also have permission right now to end the relationship. You have permission by, probably in my opinion, your higher power. You have permission from the community at large. People would understand ending a relationship because of infidelity. But if you're here, I'm assuming you probably do want to help and save the marriage. And so I'm going to probably aim my efforts there until you tell me different. I generally say something like that. So stage number 1 of infidelity or affair repair, and I'll generally call it affair repair or infidelity repair. This is a lot of Gottman stuff, just so you know. You can go and find articles on it. There's all kinds of workbooks on it that you can use as a therapist to train you, a coach to train you. But step number 1, it's called the atone phase. It's the phase where there's transparency. In this phase, the victim of an affair gets to ask all the questions they want about the affair picture, about the big picture. I always warn the victim of an affair not to ask minute details about the sexual acts, because they can't unhear them, and it'll mess with their sex life with their husband for the rest of their marriage. And so it's not healthy to get what positions they used, what toys did they use, was there, what they need to ask and know is how it happened, how they had access to time and where they went. Did they do lots of private emails? I need to know all the email addresses and all the passwords and codes for that. What am I forgiving? So was there vaginal penetration, anal penetration? Was there oral sex? You need to know the high level picture, not the fine details. So the high level pictures are hard enough to get out of your head without specific details. Now, some people can't help themselves and they'll beat their partner up until they get the details, but they're always sorry that they did. And I just warn them of that. But I do say that first phase, they have to know the whole story. They have to know how long the affair was going on. They have to know if there's love feelings. They have to know if they're willing to quit the affair. They have to know how they ended the affair. Did you send a final text? I want to see it if you did. Did you send a final email? Did you do closure so that I don't have to worry about that person coming around? They also need to know who the person is. This is where you don't want vengeance, but you want to know who the person is, so you don't it might be a neighbor, might be a friend, it might be somebody that you know. You don't want to not know and have these interactions without knowing who it was. That could be super painful if you find out it's one of your friends and you maintain that friendship, because the person probably isn't going to be your friend once you find out that there is an affair with your husband or wife in these cases. Does that make sense? So atone, that's a phase where the perpetrator tells the affair story, gets the story out on the table, talks about the feelings, what got him there, talks about without any blame of the victim of the affair, because this stage is not the stage where you figure out why the marriage broke apart and affair happened. You just want the perpetrator to tell the story. That does 2 things. The perpetrator needs to get it all out. If they're LDS, they probably need to get it all out here, and probably with their bishop and stake president, so that they can work through that repentance process and be fully fellowshipped with their faith. And there's a reason that many faiths have confessions. It's because confession is good. It gets the gunk out, so you're not holding secrets. What I notice is if a person that committed an affair holds in enough secrets, they'll have another affair. They'll look at pornography compulsively again. They'll find a prostitute again, or a massage parlor to do a happy ending again, or they'll find another woman to have an affair with, because they keep secrets and then they feel terrible about themselves for the secrets they kept. So if they can get all the secrets out and be just a whole person that's flawed, and then gain acceptance in some fashion, even if a divorce happens, they can gain acceptance that at least I'm clear about, again, what I did, and I can let it go. I'm not hanging on to stuff hoping nobody ever finds out. You hear the idea of, I'm going to take that to my grave. What that tells you is that person is going to feel bad until they die. Why would you help someone do that? So you want to warn people, you don't want to feel bad until you die. You don't want to feel ashamed of yourself until you die. And you're not saving the victim by holding on to secrets. The victim actually will feel better about you and their life if you give up the secrets. So that atone phase is get rid of everything. Then the attune phase. In the attune phase, we talk about, now this one is probably after 3 to 6 months, okay? The atone phase generally takes 3 to 6 months. Sadly, most people tell the truth in stages. And I wish they just unloaded all, it could go much faster, but you'll probably need to work on anger, rage. You warn the perpetrator of the affair that in that first phase and probably throughout the second phase, they're going to get randomly beat up verbally by their partner, a lot of rage, a lot of anger, and they just need to hang in there because that person needs to get it out. And you caused it, so you're going to bear with it. And so there's a lot of research on that. Shirley Glass's book, Not Just Friends, is excellent to read to help with some language on how to explain how this works. But during that atone and attune phase, the victim of the affair is going to go through stages of, I just want you out, and I want to hurt you. I want to like vandalize your little girlfriend's car, all kinds of rage, and it'll just show up, and then all of a sudden it'll be fine. You'll go along, you'll feel like, okay, we got through it, and then the rage will hit again. It'll be like a roller coaster, and it's going to tear you up as a perpetrator. I warn them of that. You're going to hurt because you're going to get reminded that you're a bad person in her eyes, or in his eyes, depending on which gender had the affair. And so you just warn them that for the first 6 months or so, and then beyond, there's going to be triggers that are going to like show up, and you're going to get beat up. You have to love this person enough to go through that with them. They probably will never leave you over this rage. They just need you to handle the rage without defending yourself. So in that attune phase, you help them talk about the marital problems without blame. Own and accountability. This is where communication comes in, where I own what I did, and I own some of the marriage problems that made life hard for me, but I'm accountable. So I don't say, you were never very sexual, so I went somewhere else. That's blaming your partner. I felt like I couldn't ask for sex. I felt like I couldn't work with you very well around our sex life, and I made the mistake of stepping out to meet that need, and it was wrong of me. So you're talking about the marital issue from a tone of accountability, and you're talking about where we went wrong from my perspective. I'm not putting it on you. I'm not telling you that you were wrong. I'm telling you that I saw this as hard. I saw this as not working, and I made terrible decisions by doing an affair when I could have done so many other things to fix what I perceived as the problem. And so this accountable language is important in the attune phase, because the victim of the affair probably believes that the marriage wasn't great, and the perpetrator of the affair probably believes there's problems in the marriage. And so as they come together, sometimes the victim of affair will start to blame themselves and they get angry. You try to get them to stop blaming themselves for the affair. The affair was a choice by the perpetrator that did not have to happen. Could have divorced, could have stayed loyal and faithful and talked about the problems, could have went to therapy, so many other decisions besides an affair. So the affair is all the fault of the perpetrator, 100%. The victim has problems in the marriage, but they're not causing the affair, they're causing problems in the marriage. So you help them understand that in the attune phase. And in the attune phase, you fix the marital problems while you help them heal from the affair. So you start assigning the 3 main meetings just to get a foundation. You assign them to go on a date every week. You assign them to have couples counsel with you and alone every week. and you assign them to do a family night with their family, because by now, if they've got kids, the kids feel neglected because they're so caught up in the affair, the pain, the marital pain, they've probably ignored their kids. So you get them doing a family night where they just, for a 4 or 5 hour evening every week, they just do fun family activities. They do fun family like councils. They do special dinners, but they focus on their kids with their phones off and everybody focusing on each other. The date night's 5 or 6 hours. So now that's 10 or 11 hours of stuff. The date night, 5 or 6 hours alone. Get the kids with babysitters, get them safe. Turn your phones off and go court. Don't talk about the affair or hard stuff if you can help it. Courtship is about being your best self and really getting out there and having some fun. That's in the attune phase. And then the couples counsel. They'll meet with you as a therapist or coach to go over the marital stuff. And then couples counsel is where they talk about their assignments, where they talk about the hard stuff that's going on. They get their feelings out on the table and help each other soothe and feel better about their life. And so the attune phase, you can see, is where the repair happens. And we can do a lot more training on that, but you get the idea. And then the attach phase is the last phase, where you just help them create healthy rituals for an ongoing, healthy, happy marriage. Remember that thermodynamic rule number 2? If you're nurturing energy, whatever you nurture the energy into will get bigger. So if they nurture passion, love, and connection, that'll get bigger, no matter how small the steps. If they don't nurture their marriage, or if they stay angry, it'll slide into chaos and pain. So energy must be focused, and energy, all humans are energy, and everything that they do creates energy. This energy is either moving forward, progressing to better, or it's devolving into chaos. And so you help them understand in the attached phase, they have to have rituals. What are their coming together and parting ritual? What are their rituals during the days of connecting? Do they text each other throughout the day? Do they meet for lunch? Do they, what are their rituals? And you help them develop healthy connecting rituals that are adequate to maintain passion and connection in their marriage. That's affair repair in a nutshell. There's a lot of information. We can go into each of those steps. We'll do some more of that in other training sessions. Thank you so much.